Something doesn't quite feel right. 1 minute. That's better.
People keep asking if I'm back, and I haven't really had an answer. But now, yeah, I'm thinking I'm back.
It'll be sporadic and different from the way it was. But I'm just getting tired of feeling like I'm living in Universe 25. See you soon, kids.
The big wrong, how beliefs come to predominate, the institutional nexus, deconstruction of authorities. There are scientific things, and I'll connect these things together, these scientific things together. But the term that keeps popping into my head as to how I connect these things together is operational art. Military analogy. Battle of France, 1940. Whenever the Germans engaged the French in anything like equal numbers or equipment, the German soldier didn't have any special advantage. I mean, maybe you could say there's some, like, if absolute man for man, the Germans might be better. But the thing is, they didn't win by just powering through equivalent force ratios. They struck where the French weren't and where the French couldn't be. Their victory was operational. And back in 2011, I did my first live debate. And it was a disaster. Like a real major disaster.
And actually, the APA and Rushton are both called out for cherry picking in Mogdill and Mogdill, Arthur Jensen consensus and controversy. This also has further extrapolations to Rushton and the APA, as all of their intellectual inquiry on this was based on the exact same studies, the majority of which, again, were impeached by the dubiousness of intelligence tests employed, as stated by Hartman in 2009, Brooks and Holdnack in 2011, Benson and Hulak in 2010, Loring and Bauer in 2009. Furthermore, David Marks in 2010 also found that the IQ variations across time, race, and nationality are a total artifact of the bureaus employing the testing.
So Stanford Binet, Wechsler, Wunderlich do not find similar gaps.
I'm not saying the test didn't find similar gaps. I'm saying that the tests are fully impeachable based on cultural imperative.
To the viewer,
and
I would
this has
recommend
been the argument from the beginning. I wonder if you're paying attention now.
I would recommend the viewer look at this link here. This shows. This is from Arthur Hugh. What he does is he compiles a ton of information on, like, various IQ scores, and it's like consistent.
What journal is this published in?
Around the world.
What journal is it published in?
This is just his personal site.
Okay, then I'm sorry, that's not a source.
Humiliation that followed me around for a while. And as a we say a neurological shit lib, I'm actually more socially sensitive than you likely are, and it created in me a mild form of PTSD. When I was 11 and did my first wrestling tournament, I thought that was going to be the most PTSD I would have when I got just absolutely wrecked in my first wrestling tournament. And I had more PTSD from that than I had from actual situations where I was actually in real danger in life. And I thought that event at age 11 would be the worst it would ever be. But no, this was way worse. As for what Ralph's going through, well, he's facing far more external pressure than I did then. However, he's older than I was. He's probably less socially sensitive than me, like more neurologically quote unquote conservative. You know, it's hard to say if he's having more or less PTSD than I had. You know, the pressure is higher, but he's also more resilient to it. I mean, and I'm more resilient to it now than I would be then. But the point is, you know, about 5 years later, this guy who publicly humiliated me, he came back. He DM'd me and told me how he realized that I was right, and said that he was a narcissistic asshole, and that it was basically a giant mea culpa, and he gave me like lots of praises and stuff. But that's how this works, I think. That's how I think this works. There is no decisive battle.
Anonymous sent $5. What is the lore on New in Paul Town? Have you read his books and followed his work? Will you debate him?
No, I don't know anything about Paul Town. I don't know what we would debate on. Yeah. So now, like a lot of the people who watch my stuff, you know, there's going to be a mix, you know, and the main, I think, operational difference between neurological shitlibs and neurological conservatives that you should be most aware of is deconstruction and totalism. You know, as I said before, but I think one of the indicators of neurological shitlibs is that they are suckers for deconstruction. You know, I talked to Ralph recently, and this is just an example that's kind of fresh in my memory, is that